Hello, I am Nathan Beachy. This is my AS3 vlog. Today, I'm going to be discussing my journey, how I came to university, and how I came to pick sports business. So, a little background about me. Before I came to university, I was actually a chef for 3 years. I started off as a pot washer in a little hotel called the Bull Hotel in my home county of Anglesey. I worked as a pot washer and then worked my way up into a commis chef, which is kind of like the second in command, really. Unfortunately, then COVID forced the closure of the restaurant. I remember when I was 21, I was looking to come to university, and I knew I wanted to come to Liverpool, John Moores. Definitely, I've always loved the city. So when I was 21, I was looking for courses all year, and I remember seeing sports business and that being really exciting towards me. But I didn't quite have the UCAS points at the time. However, I remember on my 22nd birthday, I thought, if I don't do it now, I probably never will. So I decided to apply for a foundation year as well as the 3 years. I've always been really fascinated with sports and how it can create such massive events, really, kind of like the World Cup or the Olympics. They can draw so many people in all across the globe. The journey on how sports has become this kind of leisure activity that everyone was kind of involved in, mainly working class men, especially with football, and how now it's such a huge money making business. And you got clothing coming out of that and everything. It's been a really interesting journey, and it's one of the things that really spoke out to me about the sports business course. Other than sports business, I'm really into kind of like my films and my music. I've partook in 3 48-hour film challenges since I've been here. They've been really enjoyable. When I finish university, I would ideally like to get into the digital marketing sector of sports. Ideally, it'd be in football. See, that's the sport I have the most interest in. However, I'd be happy to do any sport, really, as long as I'm passionate about the organisation and happy with the people I'm working around me. And also, I get a little bit of creative freedom. That'd be great to work with, I think. Now, ideally, I would like to work for a Welsh domestic football club who operate in the Welsh Premier League. International side of Welsh football has seen a huge rise since 2016 and the great Euros campaign that we had. But the Welsh Domestic League has really kind of been left behind, not really to the fault of the FAW, but that doesn't really matter. Being a fan of one of these clubs, of Bangor, I've seen how there is this underbelly of culture there, really. It does attract quite a few fans, and I think it's not really been showcased on social media. It's very kind of basic stuff that they're putting up, and it's not been marketed well at all. I mean, I'd be surprised if any football fan can really name 5 teams that operate in the Welsh Domestic League, really. To get into a position in a firm or an organisation in the marketing department, I've devised a 3-year plan. My first year, following university, I'll be looking for voluntary work or paid work in marketing anywhere I can. Mainly, maybe doing admin for a football club. That'd be a good idea, especially in North Wales. As I said, they rely heavily on volunteers to run their social media ads, so that might be a good idea. For volunteering opening, a page called Sported. They offer long-term and short-term volunteering opportunities in a vast array of industries and kind of topics. Alongside trying to find valuable experience, I'll be also looking to network to like-minded people like myself, in the industry. I think networking can provide to some really exciting opportunities, not only employment, but also maybe startups and everything like that people want to get involved in. So, I think that'd be a really good idea. As I said earlier, with that position with Aston Villa, with website design, that'd be a huge perk to have on my CV, really, especially if I want to get into marketing and digital marketing. As year 2 goes, hopefully after gaining some valuable experience, getting my foot in the door, hopefully at a firm, but if not, continue my learning and networking with others. Hopefully this will make my CV look a little bit more poignant, really. And if I can find employment in this second year, it would be great, but I'm quite happy to, continue building on myself if no opportunities arise and, keep waiting out for that good job. By year 3, I am really hoping that my continued learning and all the volunteering work and networking would potentially land me with a job. What I am ideally hoping for is to work for a firm or a club that allows me to be creative in my marketing. That'd be really make me happy, I think. I understand that not every firm is straight away going to go, look, here you go, here's all the creative freedom that you want. It might be a slow process on getting there, but finally, when I do find a marketing job, whether or not that be in year 1, 2 or 3 or beyond that, I'll also continue to work on myself and further my understanding of the marketing world. As I said earlier, it's a constantly changing landscape with different trends going on every day. You have to really keep on top of it constantly. So yeah, that's my plan for the future. Throughout my time in university, there have been many different critical points which have helped me kind of grow personally and professionally. And these are 5 of them that I think have personally helped me the most throughout my 4 years in university so far. Critical development point 1 was my trip to Shanghai, which I got to take last summer. So I was very, very happily given the opportunity by LJMU to visit the Sino-British College in Shanghai. Trip lasted 2 weeks and consisted of a lot of different lectures, business trips, and cultural trips as well. The trip vastly improved my rapport and courage building skills, as I didn't know anyone before I went out there, and I had to get to know people quite fast in the space of 2 weeks. And it also taught me that everyone's in the same boat as you and to not be so scared to go into new situations. For my second development point is the Liverpool trip we took to the Anfield Stadium of Liverpool FC. In our second year, our tutors very generously organised a trip to go to Anfield to take part in a free kind of stage, task, almost like a programme really. 3 stages were a pre-prepared presentation, a one-to-one interview with one of the careers advisors, and a group discussion kind of meeting at the end. We also got some really good feedback from those who are running the event afterwards, some strengths and weaknesses, what we improve on. From the feedback I received, it was very clear that I need to improve kind of like my public speaking and my confidence, definitely when it comes to interviews. The trip was really important in building my confidence when it comes to interviews, as I kind of know what to expect now from a professional interview structure. So it was a really good trip all around and a really rewarding experience. Critical development point 3 was our British Heart Foundation fundraiser we did last year for the 5008 module. This was our main part of our 5008 module. It was the bulk of the marks that we're going to go for. So we pretty much had to create a whole event from scratch really. And Mate said if it's for charity, then all the better really. So we decided to go out with a 7-a-side football game to raise money for the British Heart Foundation. So the event was structured to have some skill games at the start. People could win prizes there, whoever comes to attend, for a raffle. And it was followed by a 8-a-side game right at the end. This event helped me develop my team working, organisation and creative skills. A lot of these skills were put to the test. Another thing I noticed during this task was I was getting quite angry at my course mates because I didn't think they were pulling their weight on putting as much effort as I was into this project. This was one of the weaknesses on my strengths profile. It was emotional awareness, saying I should be more in tune with people's emotions and understand that my actions have consequences on their mood and how they're feeling at the time. So in the future, I need to be more aware of my teammates and not try and get angry with them, but more to encourage them to try and participate more. The skills I learned during this event will help me if I potentially want to go down a career path of events management. Critical development point number 4 was Miss Ellis Clark and Peter Moore guest speakers back in second year. We've had some amazing guest speakers come in over the last 3 years. One example would be Kai and Charlotte, who came in a couple of months back to talk about the importance of the CPD and talk about their journeys and their career aspirations. However, the one that stuck out to me was in second year, and we had 2 guest speakers come in to talk about their career paths and how they've got to where they are today. These were Peter Moore and Miss Ellis Clark. Miss Clark was the general manager at Blackburn Rovers women's team at the time, and she gave some really great insight into the women's side of football and all the difficulties financially which come with that. However, she was also saying how much the sport has grown in her time at being there, and it was really refreshing to hear a women's perspective from a board member. Really. Peter Moore provided us a retrospective look at his career and how he's got to where he is today. It was inspiring to hear someone like Peter Moore come through and talk to us about how he's gotten to where he is, because from what he was telling us, it sounds like he's come from a very similar background for myself. From what he was saying, you can almost tell he has almost fearless philosophy on success, almost saying, have a vision, stick to it, no matter what anyone else says. It was a breath of fresh air meeting someone, so successful as him, as a businessman, who's still so in touch with his working class roots and his surrounding community. And finally, for my last personal development goal, it was the 5066 module last year, sports media. This module discussed the various types of sports media, how to create sporting content, and also the history of sporting media as well. For this module, we had to create a sports business blog, a press release on a scandal, and a sporting podcast trailer. The module was run by Clay and Matt, who really put a lot of effort into it, and I really thank them for that, because I found it a really rewarding module. It was mainly group work we had to do in the project, so I worked with Matt, which was a really rewarding experience, as we could just bounce ideas off each other, really, especially when it came to sports podcasts. We really both enjoyed creating that, which we've carried on into our third year of university. This module contributed to my personal development, because I think it was my favourite module throughout all my time in university. The amount of creative freedom we got on each piece of work is what I loved, really. I really love to be kind of let off the leash and do exactly what you want, especially with the podcast, which is something we're going to try and continue with somewhere down the line, maybe after university. Creativity is a really important thing for me going forward in my career. I think I really want a job that is going to be kind of really testing me almost creatively too. And this module is a really good example of helping me kind of find out what I enjoy to do and what avenues I want to take careers-wise. This is my 2-minute pitch for the digital content executive role at Aston Villa Football Club. Digital content and marketing has been a passion of mine ever since I joined university. I love every aspect of creating which comes with marketing and think I'd be perfect for this role. In the job description, you claim to want someone who can enhance the fan experience and make them feel engaged. I'm an avid fan of football and I know what the fans want. The normal everyday fans are bored of the same old marketing campaigns, and they want something that will challenge their perceptions and make them think. This is what I can bring to the table at Aston Villa. Through keeping up with modern trends on social media and advertising campaigns, I've collated vast amounts of information on how to utilise social media marketing to get more fans involved. One example is bringing back to life fan zones, like the Bundesliga do in Germany. They really get the fans involved through watching the games with each other, just not at the stadium, but also in other venues. I also have quite a lot of knowledge about search engine optimization. I've done 2 courses on it during my CPD course in university, and it's also been a big point of discussion throughout many of my modules throughout university. My ability to adapt to new situations is also something I learned really early on in my career as a commis chef. In the very busy working environment, I constantly had to adapt to new and stressful situations. However, I didn't complain. I got on with my job and I tried to produce the best results that I could at the time. To critically analyse majority of situations that I find stressful or that I feel need to be critically analysed is something that I definitely can bring to Aston Villa. Making judgments based on any different types of situations, from what you hear, what's been said, and what needs to be done at the end of the day.